Hello, good evening, this is Diecast Loon. I hope you're all doing well. Welcome to an episode of Vintage Matchbox Mondays plus giveaways. So at the end of this video, I will be mentioning about the giveaway that I'm doing. I've not done a giveaway for a while, and I'll get into why and all that at the end, so stay tuned for that. Anyway, this week's episode, we're going to be looking at three pieces. We're going to be looking at two vintage ambulances from Matchbox, and we're going to throw in a modern piece at the same time. I know this is supposed to be vintage episodes, but I just thought, why not? I've got a really cool piece here, and it's appropriate, it fits. So anyway, less chat and more shows. So the two vintage pieces I'm going to be showing, one I've just picked up literally yesterday, and the other piece I picked up a few months ago, and it's my favourite piece of my ambulances I have. So anyway, we'll take a look at the older, the first piece I picked up, should I say, first. So this is it. Now, I went back to my favourite diecast shop that I used to go to all the time, and the guy was actually open, and this is something I put to one side the last time I was in there, and it was in the £3 pile of cars. When I say pile, he has some cars all loose on like a box top. And this one, apart from the fact I like ambulances, this one was just screaming out to me. It was too good to just let it sit there. As you can see, it has got its paper stickers both sides with the red cross on it, and it's got a few little flea bites here and there, but for the most part it's in really nice condition. The windows are nice and clear. It's what I like to call a survivor car, and like I said, I don't know what it is about them, but I do like the ambulances that vintage Matchbox does, and Matchbox's new ambulances, even though it's something I wouldn't have thought a few years ago I would have been into collecting, but now I just seem to find myself, any opportunity I can find them, I pick them up, and police cars for that matter. But anyway, so this is based on the Mercedes Benz. Let's take a little look underneath. So it just says Matchbox Series Mercedes Benz, and again it says Benz Ambulance, made in England by Lesney, all that good stuff. And when I researched this car, it didn't actually come up with a date, so I'm going to guess the date this came out. So there was one that had what looked to be little die-cast lights stuck on rather than actually parts of the casting, and obviously it had the traditional black plastic wheels. So I would hesitate to guess it was probably from the sort of mid to later 60s. And then I think there's also a chromed hub, sort of hard plastic tyre version. And there's an earlier transitional wheeled variation by the looks of it. And then there's this one, which is the sort of middle of the road. So I presume this must be, I would have said the sort of mid-70s. But again, like I said, I didn't do masses and masses of research on it. I just had a quick flick before I made this video. But there is older, slightly older versions of this casting. This casting must have been slightly retooled when the super fast variations came out from the original tooling. Because like I said, the original tooling, like if you look at this one, you can see that actually the grille is separate to the actual body, but it is parts of the base. And I believe the lights, now I'm not, again, I didn't really look at it, but the lights are either part of the base or are just part stuck onto the casting. I will show them very quickly just so you get an idea what I'm going on about. So that was the older couple of variations I could find. But again, like I said, this wasn't expensive and it's in quite nice condition. And like I said, I've probably got about 10 or 11 ambulances in my collection of vintage ambulances, but I've shown them all fairly recently over the last few months, so I'm not going to dig them out to show them again. But anyway, it is very cool. So that's the piece I picked up the other day. This is probably my favourite one out of the lot. This is the exact same one as I had as a kid. Even with the same variation of paper sticker. There's other variations of paper sticker, and there's quite a few variations of this casting, but this is the one that I had, or not this exact one, as I said, this is the same as the one I had, and I think it looks to be like it's based on a Chevy square body of some sort. I'm not quite sure, I could be wrong, because some of these generic casts, some of these like unlicensed castings, sometimes they can be a mishmash of, you know, say a Ford pickup and a Chevy. But I think it's loosely based on the square body Chevy. But I had this exact same one as a kid, and like I said before, when I've showed this a few months ago, these had a habit, when you roll them, they used to waddle from side to side, and they didn't have suspension. It was just the fact that for some reason, quite a heavy casting, it's quite top heavy, and there's always that little bit of play in the wheels, so it would rock. So it's quite funny, and it is unless you know this casting, it is a very weighty piece. And there is the inside, which I can't really see a great deal because the glass is blue, but it has got, if I remember rightly, it has got I think it's got a bed on one side and like a workstation on the other. I can't remember now. But it's always a casting that I quite liked. And like I said, these don't fetch too bad money on old eBays and other sites. But as I said before, I try to find stuff if I can in the wild. And like I said, this one was cheap. Has a couple of duffs on the corners. But again, it seems to have lasted. So I put this into the category again of survivor car, because there's a big difference between play worn, mint, and then in the middle. And this is what I call survivor cars, things that have probably seen a bit of play but still look for the most part really good. I mean, this hasn't even got scratched up lights. The lights used to always get worn down. But anyway, so that is that. So two of my favourite now vintage ambulances, and like I said, I have got many more, but I have shown them fairly recently. So now for the modern piece, I got this. So we'll just switch out the camera size again. So I found this. Now this is something that has eluded me from when I can't remember when it came out. I think it was sometime last year. But this whole orange set was something I never seen, and I was mainly interested in this. I've seen it on, I think it was Tyrone building the Ultimate Matchbox car collection, has a fine collection of ambulances, and all has a fine collection of pretty much everything Matchbox, to be completely honest. And I know there's quite a few variations of this. There's also a, got to get this right now, I think it's Matchbox, is it Matchbox Creations, do a fine version of this. But again, I didn't really want to buy that. You have to excuse my kid in the background shouting. He's obviously enjoying himself down there. But yeah, going back to this, so it was this one I wanted. I just thought it looks right, and it looked very nicely done. So there you go, there's the card art. Obviously Matchbox 70th, or just says 70 years special edition, and not a great deal on the back. So I will open this up. I did find this about a week ago and wasn't quite sure what sort of video I was going to do with it. Let's put that over that way. But I'm glad I did find it. And like I said, I found this when I travelled up to our nearest local city. That's where I found it. So that's like a 40-mile trip, both there and back. So therefore I don't go up there too often for diecast. But like I said, it is very nicely done. It is, I think they class it as, so it's a special edition, but it is from the moving parts. So it's not specifically a premium. It does have standard wheels. Just bear with me 2 seconds. Sorry about that, I got called away. So yeah, it is very nicely done. The colour suits it, and it's all nicely, so as you can see, it is, obviously it says ambulance, 70 years. Emergency services, you've got all the little lights picked out there, and you've obviously got the front done as well. So this is based on the Dodge Ram, and there is the back. Plastic black, oh sorry, plastic black. Now, are they plastic doors? Which is something. They actually feel like they're actually die-cast doors. They're not. Yeah, they're die-cast doors. So I assumed they were plastic doors, but they're actually die-cast. They feel cold. They're not plastic. But again, all the lights are done. And let's open the doors up. And again, we can't really see much in there because I don't have my little torch here, but you have to, I'll try and see if I can see. Yeah, it looks like a bed in there and some gear. You can feel it is quite nicely done in there by the looks of it. But again, I wish I could get to see inside of it. I might leave what the inside looks like very quickly for you. I'll leave that clip for you now. So there you go, that was the inside. So like I said, it is nicely done. This wasn't expensive. I forget what I paid for it now, but it was under £5. It isn't expensive in my opinion, and it is nicely done. There's the side door. And as far as I'm aware of, this is very much like the appliances that they do use over in America. And it's, like I said, it is very weighty. Obviously, it's plastic base. There you go, 2019 Ram ambulance. And I wonder, and that's quite funny because it rolls very nice, but it has got a slight wobble to it. But that's because these castings are so top heavy. But it is a very, very similar to that. Obviously, I don't think they're the same. Obviously, they're not the same vehicles. But anyway, so that's today's cars. So very happy with the three of them. And it's time for the giveaway. So I haven't done a giveaway in quite a while. I'll show what I'm giving away and then I'll explain what's going on. So basically, I'm going to be giving away these. These are the two. I'm going to do it as one prize. So I've had this for quite a while. I already have two variations of this. I have this with the extra trailer and I also have this on its own. They are both in very nice condition. And I've kept this for the longest time as I wanted a good example of the 200 series from Majorette, just so you get the idea of the box. But to be perfectly honest, I've got so much nice die-cast that I just thought, why not, let's let somebody else enjoy this, whether they want to open it or keep it. But I bought this and three others, and I enjoyed opening up the three others. And this is exactly like they would come when I was a kid. So this is from about the sort of mid to late 80s. And it is obviously an Shell tanker, and it's based on a Ford truck from the sort of UK and what they would use obviously in Europe. So this is one of the pieces that's been given away. Last week I mentioned that I'll be giving this away as well from Majorette, and again this is from about 1990. So they're both sealed pieces. And I'm going to also, I got this from Norev Peugeot that I'm going to chuck in, and we've got a loose Matchbox Jeep, so that'll be being given away. And the last piece is this. I got two of these. I've opened one and I've kept one carded, so it's obviously the Volkswagen Golf, and I believe it's a Mark 7 GTI. So some quite nice bits. But like I said, I haven't done a giveaway for a while because the last time I did some giveaways, and I used to do giveaways quite regularly. I actually had one of the parcels didn't arrive, unfortunately. Probably my fault. I should have made sure I tracked the parcels properly. So that is why. So anyway, if you want a chance to win these pieces, all you've got to do is leave a polite comment on this video saying anything. Basically, if you leave any comment, anybody that leaves a comment will be entered. I'm happy to ship overseas, and I'll announce the winner next Monday on the next Monday's Vintage Matchbox episode. So you've got a whole week to participate, and I can't remember what date it will be off the top of my head, but next week's episode of Vintage Matchbox Mondays I'll announce the winner. And what I tend to do is I tend to put all the comments out on write them all out and show them on the table who's commented and who's in it, throw them in a hat, and then I pick out a winner. So that's how it's going to work. So if you want a chance to win all that, if that's something you'd be into, just leave a friendly comment, a polite comment, or even just say I'd like to win, or whatever you like. Also, whilst I'm at it, I'd like to give a shout out to Brian at Brian's Diecast Thailand. If you could give me an email, my friend, as I've lost your email. I can't email you at the moment because when I've just changed phones, I've lost a lot of my emails, unfortunately, and I wanted to message you again to say that I've got a couple of pieces that I want to send to you, as I know one of my parcels didn't arrive to your place, and I want to do it. I've got a couple of really cool pieces that I think you'll really like. So if you could just give me an email, please, Brian, and just resend me your address so I can get that sent off at the same time as I get these sent off. And like I said, this time I'm going to make sure I get my post tracked, so I have a tracker number for the recipient and for myself, so there's no lash ups next time. And also, Brian, if you haven't got my email for any address for any reason, if you check my YouTube channel in my more information, my email address is actually there, so that would be cool if you could do that. But anyway, the video's gone on for long enough. Please like, share, subscribe, stay tuned for more vintage Matchbox Mondays episodes. I may do another video tonight, I don't know, I might do it tomorrow, but I picked up a very cool couple of premium pieces from Hot Wheels, so that's pretty cool, something I haven't seen before. But anyway, with that, I'll see you all very soon. Thanks for watching, take care.